Hello, history enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the dark side of leadership as we explore some of the most corrupt leaders in history. From ancient empires to modern states, these figures used their power for personal gain, leaving behind a legacy of greed and betrayal. Let's uncover their stories and the devastating impact they had on their countries and people. Corruption has plagued societies throughout history, undermining trust and prosperity. In this video, we'll examine 8 notorious leaders whose corrupt actions left an indelible mark on history. These are tales of vast embezzlement, ruthless tyranny, and shocking abuses of power. From ancient Rome's treacherous emperors to 20th century dictators who plundered their nation's wealth, each of these leaders exemplified the darkest aspects of human nature. Their stories serve as stark reminders of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of accountability in governance. Join us as we journey through time and across continents to uncover the chilling tales of these corrupt leaders. So, get ready to delve into the stories of history's most infamous corrupt leaders. If you find this topic intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the darker chapters of history. Now, let's uncover the truth behind the corruption that shaped our world. 1. Suharto, President of Indonesia from 1967 to 1998, Suharto ended his rule with a personal net worth of $38 billion. He oversaw a military dictatorship, which evolved into an authoritarian regime built in his own cult of personality. Following an economic downturn in 1997 that Indonesia was slow to recover from, prominent politicians began blaming Suharto and protests began earnest that year. After mounting pressure and desertion by his political allies in May 1998, Suharto resigned. He has been investigated for corruption numerous times since his resignation and was accused of embezzling $571 million of government funds through various personal charity foundations. Other lawsuits in Indonesia have sought under Suharto to repay up to $1.5 billion in scholarship funds that supposedly disappeared during his tenure. Suharto was never prosecuted, partly because he was said to be too ill to stand trial, but also because he was still well regarded by a large proportion of the population. He died in 2008. 2. Ferdinand Marcos. Marcos oversaw a debt crisis resulting from his policy of high public expenditure on infrastructure projects. This led to civil unrest and political opposition, which declared Marcos to declare martial law, placing him in sole governance of the country. This period lasted until 1986, when his reign as leader ended. In 1986, Marcos was forced to call a snap election due to his rising unpopularity and coup threats, which ended in complex indecision as various vote counts declared different winners. A revolution followed and Marcos was forced to flee Hawaii. Marcos took with him around $717 million in cash, numerous crates of valuable physical objects, gold, and deposit slips totaling $124 million. All of this was amassed illegally during his time in power. In all, he is thought to have stolen somewhere between $5 and $10 billion from the Philippines Central Bank. He died in January 19, 1995 without facing justice. 3. Mobutu Sese Seko, President of Zaire for more than 30 years, Seko was known for his extravagant shopping sprees in Paris, and speculation about his corruption was never far from the truth. Conservative estimates state that Seko embezzled $5 billion directly from the state's purse, using the money to fund a luxurious lifestyle and buy gifts for his cronies. He is considered to be one of the richest world leaders of all time and was eventually deposed by a military coup in 1997. He died months later of prostate cancer without being prosecuted. 4. Sani Abacha was president of Nigeria for 5 years in the 1990s after seizing power in 1993 following a coup d'etat. During this period, he set up fake government funding requests and directly stole money from Nigeria's central bank, laundered it abroad, and deposited it in offshore bank accounts. In New Jersey alone, they discovered an account holding $267 million linked to Abacha. The total he embezzled is estimated around $5 billion. 5. Viktor Yanukovych held the positions of Prime Minister and President of Ukraine variously from 2002 to 2014. During his time in office, he became increasingly sympathetic to his affiliation with Russia and represented the interests of big business in Ukraine. After the Ukrainian parliament voted to sign documents to more closely tie the country to the EU, Yanukovych instead decided to reject the vote at the last minute under pressure from Russia. This angered the majority of the Ukrainian populace, who were a mostly anti-Russian influence, and led to the Euromaidan protests. Yanukovych fled to Russia and entered a self-imposed exile. On the 22nd of February, 2014, the Ukrainian parliament voted in favor of his impeachment, leading to the discovery of his embezzlement activities. 6. Slobodan Milosevic first rose to power as president of Serbia in 1989. Milosevic became the president of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia in 1997. The politics of Yugoslavia were incredibly complex, with multiple ethnic groups involved in conflict with each other. Milosevic supported ethnic Serbs and aided in negotiating an end to the Bosnian War in 1995. He was put on trial for war crimes by the UN whilst still in power in 1999, eventually losing power in the 2000 elections. He was arrested soon after by Yugoslav authorities on charges of corruption and embezzlement, with his trial lasting 5 years. He died in prison in 2006. He embezzled at least $1 billion whilst in power. 7. Jean-Claude Duvalier succeeded his father in 1971, following his death as president of Haiti, and maintained the violent, autocratic style of governance that had preceded him. Thousands died or were tortured under the rule of Duvalier, whilst he lived a lavish lifestyle in the faces of Haitians that were amongst the most impoverished in the world. After a popular revolution in 1986, Duvalier was forced to flee in exile to France. He remained there until he returned to Haiti in 2011, claiming he wanted to help build the country. He was arrested 2 days later and charged with corruption and embezzlement, but dies in 2014 before he could be prosecuted. 8. Alberto Fujimori was elected as president of Peru in 1990 and almost immediately implemented vast neoliberal economic reforms. He quickly revealed dictator-like tendencies after he enacted a self-coup to oust opposition in the Congress so that he could govern unopposed. He also made use of a death squad to take out political rivals and torture those connected to them. Fujimori was re-elected twice, but both are heavily disputed on grounds of election rigging. Soon after his third win in 2000, Fujimori's involvement in bribery was made public and he fled to Japan to offer his resignation as president. Upon his return to the country to run for president once more in 2005, he was arrested within hours. He was tried for human rights abuses and embezzlement, found guilty, and sentenced to 32 years in prison. We've journeyed through the dark corridors of history, uncovering the stories of 8 of the most corrupt leaders who ever held power. From their ruthless rise to their inevitable downfall, these figures remind us of the devastating impact of greed and corruption. Their legacies are cautionary tales, illustrating the importance of vigilance, transparency, and accountability in leadership. While these leaders exploited their positions for personal gain, history also shows us that the spirit of justice and resilience can prevail. As we reflect on these stories, let's remember the lessons they teach us. Corruption can undermine even the strongest of societies, but the pursuit of truth, integrity, and fairness can bring about change and restore hope. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of history's most corrupt leaders. If you found this video enlightening, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the past. And remember, understanding history helps us build a better future. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning.